the 2022 World Cup handed out $440 million in prize money. The winning team split $42 million. And within 5 years of retirement, more than half of these same players will be broke. Not struggling, not downsizing, broke. That's not a rumor. That's the math nobody wants to talk about. Here's what makes this personal, not just some sports headline. If a guy who earned $50,000 a week can lose everything, what does that say about the paycheck you think will save you? This isn't about football. It's about what happens when money moves faster than the mindset built to handle it. Money doesn't fail people. Systems fail people. And I'm going to prove it. The dirty secret here isn't drugs, isn't gambling, isn't bad luck. It's structural. Agents, banks, tax systems, and a career clock that runs out at 35. All pointed at the same blind spot. And you've probably got a smaller, quieter version of that same blind spot right now. According to industry research from Ship's Finance, roughly 30% of active professional footballers are already near financial ruin while still playing. And about 50% end their careers broke. In England, the Players' Welfare Group XPro found that 3 out of 5 retired footballers file for bankruptcy within 5 years of hanging up their boots. Stick around, because by the end of this, you're going to understand the exact financial structure. The one American athletes in the NFL and NBA fall into too, and the 3 tools from the US financial system that could have saved almost every player on this list. So let's talk about how a guy can stand on a podium holding the biggest trophy in sports, and 10 years later, not be able to cover a $1,000 emergency. Imagine this. You're 24 years old. You just won the World Cup. Cameras everywhere. Your national federation gets a $42 million payout for the team, and your personal cut, after the club takes its share, after your agent takes 10%, after taxes, lands somewhere between $500,000 and $2 million, depending on your contract terms. That's still life-changing money. But here's the part nobody explains on the podium. That check is a spike, not a salary curve. The average professional footballer's career lasts about 8 to 10 years. Compare that to a typical American career, which spans 35 to 40 years of steady, compounding income. You're being asked to fund 4 decades of life with 1 decade of earnings. And most players have zero training in how to do that. You are not rich. You are financially exposed. So why don't players just save it? Because the moment the money lands, an entire industry is already lined up to take it from them. Legally. Here's what happens when a 22-year-old from a working-class neighborhood suddenly controls 7 figures. Family members show up with opportunities. Agents push image rights structures that quietly siphon off equity. Financial advisors, sometimes unlicensed, pitch real estate deals in countries the player has never visited. George Best, a Manchester United legend and 1968 Ballon d'Or winner, saw his fortune eroded over the course of his life by addictions to alcohol and gambling. Paul Gascoigne, a star of the English national team, filed for bankruptcy in 2016 with more than £50,000 in unpaid tax debts, a situation exacerbated by alcohol problems. David James, former goalkeeper for the English national team, earned about £20 million over a 25-year career, making about £50,000 a week during his peak at Portsmouth. A contentious divorce in 2005, combined with poor investments, led him to file for bankruptcy in 2014. Not because he spent it all on parties, but because of poor real estate investments and a lifestyle scaled to a salary that eventually wasn't what it used to be. Trevor Sinclair, who represented England at the 2002 World Cup, was formally declared bankrupt in 2025 due to unpaid tax debts, a problem exacerbated after the death of his trusted accountant. This single detail matters. The breaking point is often not the player's spending, it's the lack of financial infrastructure around him. Christian Vieri, one of the top scorers in Italian history, lost a significant portion of his wealth to parties, expensive relationships, and disastrous business ventures, according to the Italian press. Adriano, the emperor, an idol for Inter Milan and the Brazilian national team, faced problems with alcohol, mental health, and excessive spending after the peak of his career, which compromised his financial stability. Wes Brown, a former Manchester United player who once earned more than €56,000 a week and accumulated about €10 million, was declared bankrupt by an English court due to financial mismanagement after retiring. Adrian Mutu was signed by Chelsea for €22.5 million in 2003, but a cocaine doping case led the club to sue him. A Swiss court ordered him to pay more than €17 million in damages, which virtually wiped out his net worth. Eric Jemba, who played for Manchester United and Aston Villa, was declared bankrupt by a Birmingham court even while he was still playing, earning a monthly salary of £15,000 in Qatar at the time. Daniel Kennedy, who played for Benfica and FC Porto, saw a casino gambling addiction consume his earnings. He himself publicly admitted to having lost a lot, myself and my family. The reasons fall into three main categories: addictions, alcohol, drugs, gambling, poor financial decisions, investments, failed business ventures, tax debts, and disruptive life events, contentious divorces, the death of trusted advisors. This confirms the central thesis already discussed. Bankruptcy rarely stems from a single mistake. It is the result of income concentrated in a short career window, without an equivalent asset protection structure. This is not a spending problem. This is an infrastructure problem. But if it's infrastructure, then somewhere, someone built a version that actually works. And it's sitting in a system most of these players never had access to, the American one. Now, before you think American athletes have this figured out, they don't. At least, not by default. Retired NFL players hit bankruptcy at a rate of around 78% within 12 years of leaving the game, and NBA players sit near 60%. Same disease, different league. But the US financial system does have tools built for exactly this problem. Tools most global footballers never touch. 401k and Roth IRA structures let American athletes lock away tax-advantaged money early, so a chunk of peak income is legally protected from both taxes and impulse spending. HSAs, health savings accounts, stack tax-free savings for future medical costs, relevant for athletes who'll need joint surgeries decades after retirement. Structured settlements and annuities, often used by NFL rookies through league-mandated financial education programs, convert lump sums into guaranteed decades-long income streams. Escrow-based agent contracts, increasingly used in U.S. sports finance, release payments incrementally instead of all at once. None of these are exotic. They're boring. And boring is exactly what protects a spike income career. So why hasn't football adopted this? Because the structure of football's money, bonuses, transfer fees, sponsorship lump sums, doesn't naturally fit into a system built around monthly paychecks. What most players do, they treat career income like it's permanent. Luxury cars, real estate purchased on emotion, family members added to payrolls without financial oversight. Why it doesn't work. A career earning window of 8 to 10 years, taxed at peak rates with no deferral structure, gets consumed by a lifestyle that assumes 35 years of income. The math never reconciles. This is basic present value thinking, the same principle behind US retirement planning, just inverted and compressed. What few people realize: some sports finance analysts speculate that FIFA and major federations could mandate escrow-style deferred payout structures for World Cup bonuses, similar to NFL rookie symposiums. cutting future bankruptcy rates significantly. This hasn't happened yet, and it's not confirmed policy. But the data gap between American structured payout sports and global football's lump sum culture is wide enough that it's worth watching. If you've made it this far, you already think differently than most people watching content like this. You're not looking for a hot tip, you're looking for the actual mechanics. That instinct is rarer than it sounds, and it's exactly the instinct that separates the players who survive their careers from the ones who don't. Audit. Before spending $1 of bonus money, calculate your true annual burn rate, not your lifestyle aspiration, your actual number. Apps like Monarch Money or YNAB do this in real time. Common mistake: budgeting off gross income instead of post-tax, post-agent fee net income. Step 2. The tax deferral layer. Max out every available tax-advantaged vehicle before touching taxable investment accounts. In the US context, that's the 401k and Roth IRA combo. For international players, the equivalent is a formal pension trust, not a personal bank account. Common mistake: leaving this to an agent instead of an independent fiduciary advisor. Step 3. The illiquid asset ceiling. Cap real estate and business investments at no more than 30% of net worth during active career years. Common mistake: buying property in 3 countries because it feels safe. Illiquid assets can't cover an emergency. Step 4. The YSA buffer. Keep 12 to 18 months of post-career living expenses in a high-yield savings account, currently paying around 4 to 5% APY at U.S. institutions like Marcus by Goldman Sachs or Ally Bank. This is the emergency layer most bankrupt athletes never built. Step 5. The second career runway. Allocate a fixed percentage, many financial advisors suggest 10%, toward building post-retirement earning capacity. Broadcasting training, coaching licenses, or business education, starting while still active, not after. These structures already exist and are documented in U.S. athlete financial planning. Whether global football federations will formally adopt similar frameworks in the next World Cup cycle remains uncertain. But the financial pressure to do so is mounting as bankruptcy stories keep making headlines. Now here's the twist almost nobody in football finance wants to admit out loud. The players getting the most media attention for bankruptcy aren't the lowest earners. They're often the highest. Bigger peak income means bigger lifestyle inflation, more people asking for a cut, and more complex tax exposure across multiple countries. This mirrors something visible in U.S. lottery winner data. The bigger the windfall, the higher the statistical odds of eventual bankruptcy, because the psychological adjustment never scales with the financial one. None of this is financial advice specific to your situation. These are documented industry patterns, and if you're managing sudden or spike income yourself, a licensed fiduciary advisor should review your specific numbers. You're probably not a World Cup champion, but you might get a bonus, an inheritance, a stock windfall, a severance package. The exact same mechanics apply at smaller scale. No deferral plan, no liquidity buffer, no second income runway. You are not bad with money. You are unprotected by structure. 56% of Americans can't cover a $1,000 emergency without going into debt, a stat that echoes the exact same structural gap. As gig economy and windfall-style income, crypto, equity compensation, one-off bonuses becomes more common, this athlete problem may become the median American's problem within a decade. Footballers don't go broke because they're careless. They go broke because peak income without deferral structure always collapses eventually, whether the paycheck comes from a World Cup or a signing bonus. Core problem: a short earning window, taxed and spent like a permanent salary, with no institutional protection layer. Practical solution: build the 5-step framework. Audit, tax deferral, illiquid asset ceiling, YSA buffer, second career runway, before the money arrives, not after it's gone. Common mistake to avoid: letting an agent or family member manage money without an independent fiduciary reviewing every major decision. The trophy fades. The highlight reel gets shorter every year someone doesn't watch it. But a financial structure built before the peak, that's the only thing that outlasts the applause.